Hey everyone, I hope you guys are doing good. I hope you guys are doing great. It's been a beautiful week, an exciting week for the matter in the world of tech, in the world of politics. I mean, there's just so much happening across the world right now, this very moment. Intense stuff, happening across the world and across the globe. But then in tech and in artificial intelligence, it's also been like news, that's making headlines. And most importantly, some innovations and not some unveiling, with Samsung this week. Earlier on in the week, Samsung had their S24 Ultra released, and it was pretty exciting to note. Okay, the fact that now you have, in fact, you basically have an artificial intelligence device in your hand. That is what I call it. Like, now, anytime, or if you're going to make a purchase or you're going to buy the phone, all you should bear in mind is that you have an artificial intelligence gadget, like you have an AI closer to you than ever. And for me, like as a photographer, like really, I love the camera. I love the new editing, features that comes with it, like the easy AI editing features, like really splendid, really amazing. And I love that about the Samsung S24 Ultra. Now let's move on into other news. Earlier on in the week also, we heard about this publication that was made regarding AI and AI jobs by the IMF. This has sent, like, it should be actually something you guys should be worried about. And also there are other companies that are like really laying off. This thing has begun, like, I think a couple of weeks back. So many companies are laying off, and the fascinating thing is that the companies who are laying off, these are like the tech giants, the big huge retail guys. These are the people laying off. Most of these jobs are formal jobs. Okay, but let's take a look at the IMF publication that was done. So AI to impact 60% of jobs in developed economies. And what I really want you guys to take note, okay? So if you read into it, AI is likely to impact 40% of global jobs, with the impact going on as high as 60% for developed countries. According to the International Monetary Fund, IMF, in low-income countries, on the other hand, 26% of jobs will be impacted. So this time around, it's more like they saying it's 60% in Western countries, and then 26% in lower, or which is obviously they always refer to Africa. Okay, and roughly half of the exposed jobs may benefit from AI integration, enhancing productivity. For the other half, AI applications may execute key tasks currently performed by humans, which could lower labor demand, leading to lower wages and reduced hiring. Pointed out the blog post by the IMF Managing Director Kristalina Georgieva. AI is more likely to complement human work instead of completely replacing the jobs, added the blog post. Both advanced, and this is what I want you guys to pay attention to, okay? Both advanced and emerging markets and developing economies are subject to considerable uncertainty surrounding these predictions, said the IMF study. While advanced economies are better placed to reap the benefits of the technology, they are also likely to face short-term disruptions. On the other hand, emerging and developing economies may take a little longer to be affected by AI-related disruptions. They will lose out on the benefits of the technology as they are not prepared to leverage the technology for economic and social growth. This could increase the digital divide within the country while widening the gap between nations. Now, I want you guys to, the publication is online. It's on their website, the IMF website. Just search for, the recent, I think it was published earlier on the 15th, I think, of this month. But then you can search for it on their website and download it and have a detailed read, okay? But what I want you guys to pay particular attention to is the fact that they seem to make this assertion that, obviously artificial intelligence is going to affect a lot of jobs. That is like in no doubt, like we've seen it happening already. Okay, it's happening across many different economies or companies and businesses. Okay, but then what this paper seeks to suggest is like telling us that, okay, yeah, it's going to affect Western companies, okay, Western developed companies, but then that is only going to be in the short run. On the other side, for like, lower, middle, upcoming developing economies, it isn't going to affect us in any way, okay, for now, only because we haven't really adapted or adjusted ourselves to anything artificial intelligence. But then in the long run, because we haven't adapted, or because we don't seem serious or inclined to wanting to learn or wanting to imbibe, is that the word correct, like to make use of artificial intelligence in our economies, it is going to affect us in the long run. But even with that effect, okay, it is only going to create a digital divide. And within this digital divide is what usually when the West says, digital divide, it's just the connotation, or it's just so usually they mean that, okay, because you see, my whole point, or I don't want to call it a beef, or want to call it like whatever thing or description they want to give to this whole thing. In as much as I know artificial intelligence, AI is going to affect African or developing economies, I so much believe so. It is going to affect us. But then, how is something that we haven't jumped onto, something a lot of Africans, trust me, a lot of people haven't really bought into this whole AI frenzy. Like, if you look at the numbers, you look at the statistics, and even now that it's affecting a lot of jobs in the Western countries, I don't see that effect happening now in Africa, in Ghana, in Nigeria. Talk about in South Africa, in all of the unemployment is already there. Unemployment has been in existence like since companies. It's only because perhaps companies are not taking on more, okay, and companies are not taking on more people. Government is not taking on more people in employment, and so you have these new students who are done with school, new people done with school, done with colleges, looking out for jobs, and they're not finding one. It's only because companies are not taking on new, and it's only also a reason that a lot of businesses are not expanding, or new businesses are not coming on board. Manufacturing, the big corporations, okay, are not being developed or grow. They're not growing in our part of the world. That is why you don't have this sort of unemployment situations, okay. But this, I believe, can be solved just like that. But yeah, you need good leaders, you need visionary thinking leaders to really execute tasks like this. But then from this paper, okay, really, I don't see Africa losing out. I don't see developing countries losing out. How are we going to lose out on something we haven't assigned or ascribed ourselves to? I don't think it makes sense. We are not going to lose out. Technology is going to come. It's going to peak. It's going to halt. Those who are going to subscribe to it are going to subscribe to it, okay? People are going to lose out. But those people and those numbers that they mention is really not going to have like an impactful, okay. When they talk about digital divide here, for me, it's always, it's with the financials, it's with digital, like, yeah, the vice president, but Dr. Baumia, is pushing digital innovations, is pushing everything digital. Yes, it's like a good thing to do, a good way to go. But if you look at our part of economy and how our economies are structured, it really has nothing to do with technology. We haven't seen a lot of layoffs in Ghana. We've rather seen a lot of global companies ransacking and packing up and leaving the country. But really, layoffs like we are seeing every blessed day in the Western and developed country. Let me tell you this. This week we've had eBay. eBay has laid off over 1,000 employees. Okay, that's like 9% of its employees. They put them out of job. TikTok is laying away all of its sales department across the world. they're taking them all out. We've seen that of Microsoft laying just this week. This is just this week. We don't want to talk about the Amazons. We don't want to talk about the Walmarts. We don't want to talk about, like, there's been countless people who've laid off this week. Countless people. So every day, okay, we're seeing and hearing all of these people laying off. And so, yeah, I think this publication has a lot of questions as to whatever samples they use, whichever lower or developing countries or economies that they used. I think they might want to come clear with all of these things, but a lot of time these figures really don't add up. Listen, I'm an advocate for artificial intelligence. I know where all of these things are heading. I know where technology is heading. And so when I hear things like this, in as much as I would want everybody to get on board, like I would want every developer, I would want Africans to get on board, get on artificial intelligence, like make the best use out of it. But where it comes out across as in, okay, yeah, you guys know that you're crashing. They know very well they're crashing. The economies are crashing, quote speaking. AI is going to affect hugely formal jobs. And we in turn don't have that much of a we don't have that huge workforce if it comes to the formal sector, okay? If the financials should collapse, which is mostly where the digital divide would be, okay? Those of us who haven't jumped onto the whole central banking system, the Momo, a lot of people in my part of town don't have bank accounts. And usually that's the only thing you're going to use against us when it comes to the digital divide. Other than that, would it be phones? Yes, we'll use phones. A lot of us use phones, but really not for all of the transactions you would have loved us, to be subscribing to the digital stuff, the apps, the programs, the subscriptions. We don't subscribe to a lot of those things, okay? And so they'll tend to place it as, but really, we don't lose out hugely on these things. If it comes to the crack of the worst, we can do away with these things and go back to our farming. Yes, I also understand that there's a lot that is happening within, if there's a lot more we lose when we don't make use of artificial intelligence or don't make use of new technologies and all of that. Production is lowered when production actually could be used for, to increase yields, to increase, whatever. If you own a farm or if you're in the agric space or you're in the food, agric food chain space, if you were in the space and you utilize agriculture or you utilize some form of an artificial intelligence or some form of technology, it should go well with you. But then, and since we haven't really jumped onto it fully, I think this article or this publication still doesn't really do justice. So yeah, the West is falling. A lot is going to affect them artificially. With artificial intelligence, a lot is going to affect them. Job losses already being seen every single day, the companies laying off, and all of these things are really formal jobs that are being affected. So yeah, it's not to say that we're on the safer side, but then the pace, the rate at which it's going, I think the developing companies or developing economies, I should say, are on a much better and safer side for now. And I don't think it's going to have a long-term effect, whichever you want to, neither a short nor a long-term effect. It might not affect us. And if many of you know, with where all of these things are heading, Charlie, it's capitalism. And if you have known, capitalism in its form, whichever way you want to look at it, has never survived. They'll try it dies out, they'll come back again. You can't do away with humans. Never. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoy this this talk. I hope to come your way. But the article is up on the website, the IMF website. Do make a good read out of it, and let me know what you guys think. How is it going to affect you? Which economies do you belong? Are you in the advanced or what they call the upcoming and developing economies? We are not even a developing economy. We are the economy that everybody else needs. Anyway, we'll talk again in some other video. I hope you guys have a good day. Yeah.